Welcome everybody to As If by Magic Facebook Live Thursdays. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm so grateful that you're here. So today's topic is kind of an interesting one, and even coming up with the title for it was tricksy, because there were so many elements in here that I wanted to engage with. Hi, everyone joining. Feel free to say hello in the chat. I really love chatting with you guys and making it a conversation. So, hi, Twy. Hello. Okay, so navigating your magic through judgment. What do I even mean by that? Hi, Leonie. Hi, Cass. Hi, Johanna. Good morning. Good morning. And for some of you, good evening. Yes, I did just pull you in. I always want Leonie here. Okay, we're talking about judgment, and we're talking about what we do with our magic in regards to judgment. So if you've done any amount of work with Access, you've probably heard the phrase, what if every wrongness of you, the question, what if every wrongness of you is a strongness of you? So look at those things that you either judge about you or is a judgeable offense, okay? And it depends on what circles you're in, if it's a judgeable offense or not. But somewhere hi Jess, hello. Somewhere you've been trained enough in this reality to know that there are things about you that are a judgeable offense. What if those things about you actually are part of the magic about you? Because what if being magical in a world that denies magic is a judgeable offense? Uh-oh. So I was having a conversation with a new friend the other day, and I noticed where I could quickly, it was like a catalog going of, it's like pinging off of, I bet they don't like this, or I bet they don't like this, like almost creating a file folder of information, okay? So, does not like this, okay, does not like this, does not like this. So how many of you have done that with, like, maybe you've started a new job, you're looking at what does your employer not like, so you can make sure that you don't do the things that they don't like, so that you don't get fired, you don't get rejected, you don't get judged. Johanna says some of the wrong judgy things feel like, really? Yeah. But if you turn it 180 degrees, guys, why don't you throw in what are the things, if you're willing to, if it's fun for you, throw in some of the things that you are aware that people judge about you, or that you judge about you, and you probably only judge it about you because of some kind of something that you bought. Jess says all the damn time. Yeah. Okay, so I'm making this list. I see this list start to show up, and I'm like, what is this? What is this? And it's a way of functioning that I've not done for so long that it felt so unfamiliar. And then I realized, oh no, this is familiar. This is how I used to train myself to be appropriate with other people. So we talk a lot about how this reality entrains us, how the society entrains us, the world entrains us, but how much do we train ourselves so that we can get things right or avoid getting things wrong, so we can get the positive judgments and avoid the negative judgments? Where have you trained yourself? And it's kind of like I think of like a trained fighter, okay? So even if it's like it's self-defense, or you learn these positions, and after a while your body becomes trained to it, so that when an attack is coming, your body is already moving into those postures without having to even think about it because you've trained yourself to react in certain ways. And you did that on purpose because that was going to create something greater for you. Fighting. So where did we to navigate through this world and train ourselves in different scenarios? So it could be you're starting a new relationship, new work environment. I often notice it in the new scenarios is when it activates, okay? And then you go into, okay, this is my entrainment. Okay, and then so what I was noticing for myself is I was listing out all the things that I thought. And here's the thing, not aware, not that I was aware, oh, it was thoughts. It was actually thoughts coming up. There's a big difference. We learn a lot about this in the foundation. I'm not going to go into it too much today, but a big difference between knowing something and thinking something, perceiving something, receiving something, and using thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So as I was making that list of all the things, like, oh, don't be too much of this. Okay, I don't get he likes this, so don't do that. And one of the main things that I had decided that this man probably doesn't enjoy is one of my superpowers. and it really like started to sink in of like, whoa. So if I crafted this in my world, if I allowed this to take seed, if I allowed this to be true without even asking the question, without even actually accessing my knowing or asking him the question, I have already decided what's true. And if I allowed this to take seed, then to engage with this person, I would always have to bounce off against either aligning and agreeing, okay, shouldn't be this way, or resisting and reacting and being this way anyways, which takes me completely and utterly out of choice, out of awareness, out of perceiving, and out of receiving. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Renee. Hello. All right, I'm catching back up in the thread here. So Lanny says, oops, busted, did it big time with my mom. Yeah. Lanny says, receiving ease, joy, happiness, and money. That's very judgeable. Johanna says, me, money, not handling this reality very well, not having enough ease and elegance, like not fitting in anywhere. Yeah. So not fitting in is a judgeable offense. And so to fit in, how much of your magic would you have to compress, suppress, or negate? So what if so that's where I'm looking at where to allow judgment to craft how we show up in the world, we have to cut off massive amounts of our own magic. And that could be the magic of sexualness. It could be the magic of the joy and ease of money. It could be the magic of being too happy all the time. And Johannes is not handling this reality very well. And okay, so if you turn that 180 degrees, what would you be aware of? You turn those judgments of you 180 degrees, what would you be aware of? Right and wrong, good and bad, pocket pod, all day, shorts, boys, and beyond. And this is also being the chameleon. Yep. Superpower. Leonie says, being judged for my body, my speed of space, or, well, let's go short, judged for being and having humanoid embodiment. Yep. All of that, all of that, all of that. And then what do we do to those things? So what do we do to our body if we're navigating through life as judgment as our guide? Okay. So if we're using judgment as our guide, then what do we have to do to our body and our magic of embodiment? If we're using judgment as our guide, what do we have to do with our money? What do you have to do with your capacities? Yeah. And he says, can we change that suppression of magic now, please? Heck yeah. So anyone that's willing to change that, that would like to change that, I'm going to use the Access Consciousness clearing statement. So if you're new to Access Consciousness, if you're new to these Facebook Lives with me, Access Consciousness is a set of tools and techniques that we use at As If by Magic to change anything as if by magic. And one of those tools and techniques is called the clearing statement. And you can go to theclearingstatement.com to get more information. We're not going to go through all that here, but I will use it. So the clearing statement goes like this. So anywhere and everywhere that you are suppressing your magic, compressing your magic, or negating your magic so that you can navigate this reality through as judgment as your guide, will you destroy and create all that? So I ask you to destroy and create all of that. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and yes, that is the clearing statement. It is just a magical way to clear energy. Oh, there we go, Johanna. Thank you so much. She said, so I had asked her earlier on, she'd said that she was in judgment of herself for not handling this reality. And I was like, what, if you turn that 180 degrees, what do you become aware of? And she said, and she's laughing, and she said, this reality cannot handle me. Exactly. Exactly. And that's a judgeable offense. And are you willing to be it anyways? Will you be that judgeable offense anyways? Be that magic. Be unhandleable. It's not a word, it's a word now. What if you were willing to be all of that? Without suppression, without compression, without negation of you and the gift that your magic is, acknowledged or unacknowledged. Jess says, at work, they're not ready to handle my full weirdness. Yeah, that's probably correct. Okay, so here's the thing. So what part of that is true? So that's awareness, right? So there'll be an awareness. Oh, actually I get they can't receive all of this yet, or maybe never. Okay. And then there's what I was talking about earlier, where you start to have this kind of, it's like you're doing a research project, but it's from judgment and thoughts and feelings and emotions rather than from awareness. So in your workplace, so how many of those ideas that they can't handle your weirdness came from thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and how much of it came from awareness? Now, here's the thing, your point of view creates your reality. So if you start writing out, like I was doing with that guy, oh, I don't think he likes this. Ooh, I don't think he likes this. Oh, I don't think he likes this. Okay, so you're at your work and you're like, you test it out, right? You ping a little bit, you'll like be a little weird, and then someone reacts and you go, oh, okay, I'm going to write that down in my research journal. What does that mean? Their reaction, they looked a little freaked out. Okay, freaked out by weirdness. Put that in my Rolodex. And we write this all, and this is a way that we navigate this reality, because this reality does not make sense. It doesn't make sense to you. Have you ever acknowledged that? The rules here don't make sense. The way people engage with each other, the separation, it doesn't make sense to you as a being, but you've learned to make it make sense to you as a finite being, as a member of your society. So you make out this you're doing a research project, and if you let this information take root in your world, you will create it as your reality. You'll create it as your reality. And so that research where you maybe were a little bit weird, and that person, their face, their reaction may have seemed like, oh, like they weren't receiving your weirdness, but what could have been going on was something totally beyond that. Maybe it even had nothing to do with you. It maybe reminded them of something that was kind of off into another world. And then they snapped back to what was going on with you. Or maybe it brought up something for them. And in that moment, it would have changed And then the next interaction, they would have been able to receive more awareness. Now, I'm not saying that this is your exact example, but I'm inviting you all to look at these places where you've been doing the research project based on judgment rather than the awareness of, in that moment, what can they receive in that moment? And that means you have no research paper. You have no folder on what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Because if you create that, what's acceptable at work, what's not acceptable at work, what's acceptable with this person, what's not acceptable with this person. Even like some people really don't like swearing. Okay, so then you go, oh my God, they don't like swearing. I need to put this in stone, and I'm going to put it in so that I know that I don't swear around them because I don't want to be offensive. But what if there was a moment that came up where if you were to swear, it would match the exact vibration of the word that was required to change something, and you wouldn't do it. You'd suppress it. You'd suppress that magic. You'd compress it because you didn't want to be offensive. Okay, so your point of view creates your reality. So you have this research project, okay? So you know that this person doesn't like all these things, so you're not going to be all these things around them. Or your work doesn't like all these things. Your mother doesn't like all these things. Your whatever that is. So you're navigating with your research projects of judgment, of other people's judgments and your judgments. And then you're suppressing and compressing your being, which is your magic and certain capacities that you have. So the capacity of weirdness. There we go. So everywhere you've been suppressing your capacity of weirdness, will you distrain and create all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Now, that's very different than giving people what they can't receive. And it's very different than forcing yourself onto everyone and everything. Like, I don't care about your judgment. It actually is a resistance and reaction. What might work better is to always be in the question. So, for example, with this gentleman that I was speaking with, if I was capacitive weirdness, says Leonie, yes. So if I had been in the question, I could have been aware of at that time, maybe this thing was something he couldn't receive. And then I have a choice. Okay, so do I try and shove down his throat something that he's not ready to receive, or do I choose to still allow myself to be all energies? But I might choose something that creates something different. So it always puts you in the choice, and it always puts you in the creation. So if you're at work and everyone's having a really serious and sullen day, and you're like, joy bomb, oh my God, I'm so happy, I love life, and you show up, you have to be in the question. What can they receive? So if they can't receive your joy that day, do not suppress your magic of joy. Don't compress it. Don't hide it. Be it. But look at what can you create with it, with them in the space that they're willing to receive it. And sometimes just like being that can shake up the vibration that is going throughout the whole office. Just being it anyways. Just being it and expanding it and being it. And that goes with all energies: happiness, joy, sexualness, ease, peace. Renee says, who am I trying to fit in for? Because I don't fit. Exactly, because you don't and you won't. And that's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. What if it was beautiful to not fit in with anyone? What exquisite landscape would we create together if we were all as different as we truly are? Yeah. Up here, Renee said, yes, struggling. Whose reality am I trying to be? Yeah, exactly. What else? What else? Yay, we have lots of yays. This is awesome. People are grateful. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Leonie says, when you make the list, oh, I lost it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this thing. This is fun. When you make the list, aren't you putting those things in their head? So creating how they respond to you. You could absolutely be doing that. Yeah. Yep. Brilliant question. Because if they have psychic awareness and if they're willing to pick up things, then exactly, you're projecting that into their world too. So that's part of how your point of view creates your reality. So it doesn't only create like your bubble, but it creates how people interact with you based on what you've decided, you've concluded, and what you're projecting out and what you're pulling in. That will all support your reality. So if your reality is, and I could receive the moment that I was starting to create a reality here. I was starting to create a reality that I don't want to have. I have no desire for that reality. And it was like this auto response system. And it was very cool to be present with it and to go, oh, hello, auto response system. I don't need you anymore. Thank you so much for being here. You can go now. I'm just gonna fly by the seat of my awareness with this one and ask questions every moment with this person. The list is kind of the monkey mind, super mind. Yep. Yes, it is. Capacities with weirdness. Yeah, I love this conversation. Thank you so much. Melting. Claire says, thanks for putting words to what is experiencing today. A weird energy with other suddenly changed, and now I have more awareness of what it was. Yay, Claire! That's awesome. There's so much left to unfold. Yeah, absolutely. There's so much of you to still discover, and discovering you can be a lot easier when you're not navigating you through judgment. Yeah. Carol says, I tried to be present to a person who was sharing her judgments, projections onto me. It was amazing to allow it and still stand hard and to allow it. And it is still hard on my body. What else is possible? Okay, cool. I love that question. Thank you for that. So I would ask your body, hey body, well, like what's going on? Did you lock anything in? Are you trying to facilitate her body? Are you trying to facilitate her world? What's going on, body? Can we let this go now? Thank you, body, for receiving. So there's being present, but there's also receiving judgments, which seems bizarro. But it really can be a gift because all judgment is energy that we have attached something to. We have decided it is something, we've defined it as something. So if you allow a judgment to come through, then it doesn't go to you. It doesn't like stop at your body. It actually goes all the way through. And you can receive all that and you can use that energy as a gift of energy. Yeah. But some of us, we go, oh, and we'll lock it into our bodies. Or our body, in the receiving of that, you're also receiving a lot of awareness of where they're functioning from. You're receiving a lot of awareness of what they're judging about themselves. Because usually when people are projecting judgments at you, it actually has nothing to do with you. You're just triggering something in someone else. You're inviting them to something that they're not ready to leap into. So they want to shut you down to control themselves. Yeah. So, so as sometimes us cute, kind, caring humanoids will go, oh my God, you're judging me. Oh my God, I'm really aware of your world and all these places where you're doing this thing. And I'm just gonna, here, can I heal you? Can I facilitate you? What can I do for you? Now, if they're willing to receive that, that's amazing. That's awesome. If they're not willing to receive it, it can cause a lot of pain in your body. It can cause a lot of uncomfortableness and it can lock things in. So anywhere any of you are trying to heal all the bodies that do not, all the bodies where either the body or the being is not willing to receive it, will you just train and create that? Right, wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So what if you allowed judgment to actually contribute to your body? It can be generative, it can be creative. Oh, you're judging me today. Okay, cool. I'm going to receive that. Body, is there any of this energy that we can use as a contribution for us, for my business, for my life, my living, my money, my bank account? Okay, let's use that. No? Okay, let's let it go. Yeah. Cool. Thank you all so much. Carol says that is it. Brilliant, Cassy. Yes, yes, yes. Yay. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here. This was a fun conversation. Yeah, so look at where do you have old like research papers that you can get rid of? It might be how, like, oh, this is when I go to my my mother-in-law's house, I pull out like the big book. Like, I don't, because I don't have a mother-in-law, but if I did, I'd probably pull out the big book and I would be like, these are all the things that are judgeable. These are all the things that are inappropriate here. If you didn't have this anymore, you burn it, you could recycle it, whatever you need to do. If you didn't have that, then you would be totally present in that moment of what is it today with her. And that's when you get to be in the space of changing realities, changing your own reality, changing her reality, changing everyone's reality connected. You can be the change of realities, because that's part of what your magic is here for. Your magic of being is to change realities. And when you just be you, even judgeably you, then you are changing realities. And that is a gift that is so required right now. So required on the planet. So please, consider that for you. Consider throwing away all your research papers, all your reference manuals, and yeah, burn them. And acknowledge the gift of you, even if it's being judged by someone else or something else. Yeah, I would like to acknowledge it in you. And what would it be like if you acknowledged it in you? So right before I go, I'm just going to read Renee's. Wow, I feel like I need to get rid of everything I've written, even as the last day or two, everything keeps is an old reference point I can still choose to go back into. Exactly. And that's what it's there for. And it probably really worked for us at a certain time. And as we become more conscious and we're able to be more present and ask questions, we don't need them anymore. Yeah, so you're just hoarding stuff you don't need. You can get rid of it now. Let's all do it. We'll have a big bonfire. It'll be beautiful. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day, beautiful evening, and we'll see you next Thursday. Thank you so much for being here. Bye for now.